Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the VZ55. This is a Tier 10 Czechoslovakian heavy, and in the next update of the game, it is getting a massive overhaul. Currently, the vehicle is a single-shot tank. It has 470 damage per shot, really good levels of penetration, and overall has a solid gun, but nothing too special. Pretty similar to that of something like an IS-7, just with a little bit more penetration on the premium. The thing that's really nice about the VZ is that it has solid gun depression, incredibly good turret armor, and an upper plate that even a Hori cannot penetrate. But a lot of people have been wanting the VZ55 to be like the World of Tanks PC1, which has two options: a high DPM single shot, kind of like the tank already has, and an autoloader, a double shot autoloader, something closer to what the Rinocerante or the M6 Yo has. Well, next update, the VZ is actually getting an autoloader, and it looks to be really strong, similar to that of an Object 752 with the interclip, the damage per minute, and capabilities. So let's actually take a look at this autoloader the vehicle is going to be receiving, and just exactly what its statistics are going to look like. So it's going to feature 2,660 effective damage per minute, and that's with calibrated shells on. The VZ55 with rammer right now has 2,582 DPM. So that means, even with Cali next update, you're going to have more DPM than running the VZ55 with rammer currently. That is a rather substantial buff to the tank. I mean, just alone, the DPM changes are going to make it a lot better. But that's without even mentioning it's getting a 2-shell autoloader. It is going to feature 460 damage per shot, so a clipping potential of 920. And it features, just like the Object 752, a 4-second interclip. This is actually what I proposed to Wargaming in my balance changes video. I don't know if they listened to what I had to say, but it is quite refreshing to see an actual decent idea come into the game, which actually looks pretty fun. The VZ's accuracy and the majority of the other characteristics are still going to stay the same. The only other change is that it's going from 38 kilometers per hour to 40 in terms of top speed, which is also just a nice little quality of life change. Overall, the VZ55 is easily going to be one of the strongest tier 10s in the game. It's already a solid vehicle, but most people just don't care too much about it because they'd rather play an IS-7 or something else that has similar alpha with either more mobility or more armor. But honestly, the VZ has pretty good armor. I mean, the upper plate is 430 millimeters base. If you're running enhanced armor, it goes even higher. It's pretty impressive in terms of the armor. Not only that, but when you're using gun depression and you're hiding the lower plate, it's got a very strong turret. At weakest, it's like 260, but even if you're loading gold, you can see due to the way it's angled, it's very tricky to cut through. It's got spaced armor all over the turret. Really, the only big weakness is the hatch. But now, with this tank having a double shot gun and dealing 920 damage, it means that even if you do penetrate it, it's going to be able to outtrade you any day of the week. Taking a look at a vehicle like an Object 752, for example, we can see that this tank has 2,400 DPM, 430 damage per shot, has really good penetration, and a 4-second interclip. So we already know from the Object 752 that this is a really strong tank. It's the second highest performing tier 9 in the game, only beaten out slightly by the 50 TP prototype, which actually surprises me. But if this is the second strongest performing tier 9, then I guarantee the VZ55 next update will probably be one of the top performing heavies. I would assume within the top 3. If you don't have the vehicle, I would already recommend to grind it because, I mean, it's just going to be insane. Now, one other change I should mention about the VZ is that it is losing a bit of penetration. With calibrated shells activated next update, it's going to have 347 millimeters of premium penetration, where the current VZ has 352. But to be honest, you don't need that much pen to begin with for any of these vehicles. 347 APCR is more than enough to cut through the majority of armor that you will be aiming at. So I really don't see the changes to the pen affecting the vehicle in any way. To me, it just seems like the VZ55 is gonna be a freaking beast. Now, personally, I would like for Wargaming to leave the single shot on it. I personally won't be driving the single shot, neither will the majority of people, but I still think it's nice to have more than one option. The E100 is a great example. Next update, the E100 is getting the 128mm massively buffed. It's going to have close to 3,000 DPM, making it quite similar to the World of Tanks PC 128, which is really cool. The problem for the VZ, though, is that you don't get to keep the original gun that's on it. You know, if Wargaming buffed the DPM so that maybe it was a little bit higher than the Autoloader, or they made its accuracy better, or something, you know, they gave it an advantage over the Autoloader, then it would be cool to have two different gun options, you know? But for some reason, Wargaming doesn't like doing that. They did that for the Foch. They changed it, if you remember, when it got the auto-loading gun. For some reason, they decided that it didn't need the single shotgun, and then they finally fixed it and everything, but it took them a while. And we've seen that a lot. But that Trek TVP is a great example of where the autoloader, you know, part of a vehicle really just wins 90% of the time, because that player made obviously a really poor maneuver, but we were able to heavily bleed that player because of that mistake. And this here's another great example. We have the ISU-130. We shoot him once and we shoot him twice. Name another tank that would be able to get out 800, 900 damage in that short amount of a time. If I was in a single shot, I might have only gotten that one shell out into the ISU-130, and then he would have backed in the cover. And by the way, this tank does not have bad damage per minute at all. In fact, the 7.52, as we said, has around 2,400, which is pretty dang impressive when you think about it. Don't know if that shell hit the Super Pershing. Actually, I know it didn't, because his camo, or the base cap would have been reset, not his camo. So, I'm trying to think of what I want to do here. I mean, this game's obviously going to be a win. Could really not care about the Shrek, and he's dead anyway. So, let's see. We got the 7.52, got the ISU out. Just everybody's dead on the enemy team. Kind of hoping I can hit this K2. There you go. We got one shell out into him, and we might actually be able to out-reload. Well, we didn't out-reload the 2.52U, but we fired before he did, so I'll take it. Either way, this is a pretty good game to really show just like how easy autoloaders have in winning games and getting out damage. Like, the 7.52 is literally just a tier 9 version of what the VZ's going to be like. Now, I don't think Wargaming is giving the tier 9 or tier 8 a double shell gun, which is interesting because on PC, the tier 9 and tier 8 do have double shot guns, so it's just rather, you know, weird to see Wargaming not following suit in Blitz. Maybe they will in the future, but they're definitely not doing that currently. I just thought that I would make a quick video sharing my opinions on the VZ. I'm definitely excited for it. I think a lot of you are excited for it as well. This is a huge change. I remember when the Foch first got its autoloader, and it was a huge change as well, and everybody was talking about it. So this is something that I'm really excited for. I mean, you can see just how easily we ripped out 3,200 damage in this game. So you can imagine a tier 10 variant of this vehicle with higher alpha, higher DPM, and solid armor is going to do just as well, if not better. So I have a feeling the VZ next update might be a little bit overcooked with the level of damage per minute it's going to feature and everything else. But, hey, I guess we'll find out. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!